And here's just a little illustration.
So why don't they talk about this kind of stuff in history, like in history class?
Well, you ask me, my friend. So what it was, this the white press, when they featured black people, tend to be very kind of derogatory. They were degrading black people in the white press. They were either focused on the criminal side of things, or they just made comical like caricatures of black people. So John Rossworm, with his co-founder, founded the Freedom's Journal. So black people could be spoken of in a more respectful manner. So what do you think about that then, this colour bar? This man comes from Jamaica, studies at King's College in London, and then after that he's refused work in hospitals and clinics.
Refused?
Yeah. He applied for work in hospitals and clinics, but because of his colour he was refused work.
They say there's like 200 people that die. They don't die, but injured. Yeah. There'll be like, say, 50 nurses or doctors. Yeah. He could be that 51 to help someone in need, innit? For sure.
A lot of people don't realise that the war actually happened in the Caribbean. People think it happened mainly in Europe, but it also happened in the Caribbean as well. People had these perceptions of black people, and one of them was that it had tails. So you can imagine that the children, once they heard these stories, when they actually saw black people in the street, they were going up to them and looking under their backsides and looking for something hanging from there. I think there's more to do with ignorance, to be honest. People had these perceptions.
Well, yes. It was racist on the behalf of the American soldiers, who, you have to remember at the time, back home, blacks and white people didn't mix in America. There was no connection. So the American soldiers had a real issue with how well and these new freedoms that these black soldiers had when they came to Europe, because England didn't have the same setup as America. So part of what these American soldiers were doing was spreading this propaganda as a way to shine a negative light on black people. Because of the way they've been brought up in the society they came up in, which was an American society, which was extremely racist. When they came to England and saw that actually the English people and European people were treating the black people a lot better than they didn't like that.
You heard the term apartheid, haven't you? Apartheid? Yeah. Okay, well, this was the American version of apartheid, but they called it Jim Crow. The white soldiers tried to bring Jim Crow to England. The white officers went round to all whichever town or city the black soldiers were stationed in. The white officers would go around to the pubs and restaurants and say to the owners, if you allow black people to come in here, then we won't come in here. One of the journalists, a guy called Enoch Waters, said he felt safer on the front line than when he went down south, because down south in America was where the worst racism was.
He's saying he'd rather risk being killed
than being down south.
You're a soldier who's leaving your home and leaving your family to go overseas to fight for the rights of this country that you live in. But in the country that you live in, you don't feel safe. You feel safer in a war zone than you do at home amongst your family and your friends, because you know at any time someone could come and take you away or take someone of your family away for no good reason. And you have to realise that there's lots of places in the world that are still very much like that today.
So what we're going to be doing is taking all of these stories in here and all of these historical events that we're learning about and these people that we never knew about before, that we're hearing about for the first time, and we're going to try and make some kind of like artistic piece, whether it be a rap, a poem, an essay, a monologue, or something that you write individually and perform yourselves. We're always given the same argument and the same stories about what happened during World War I, and it's a very European and for want of a better word, white way of telling the story. But that's not the only way of telling the story, you know? So what we're doing here now is kind of setting up your mind to know that there are other stories that need to be told. This is about the silent individuals during World War I, the people whose stories haven't been heard. We want for you young people now to give those people a voice.
I've heard, does it make you think that in some history books it's all about white people in the war, not black, Indian or Asian?
It makes you think thousands of coloured people died for the changes of today. They expected to come home and be respected as much as the white men.
I feel like I have learnt a lot this lesson, and it is teaching me about how there's people out there whose stories haven't been told. and there's people who have done so much for their country and they have been forgotten.
In school, they don't tell you about all types of countries that were fighting in the war. They tell you about England and Germany and America and them big countries, but also there was countries that were the smaller countries that fought as well.
But this is the picture that Isaac has chosen, and he's chosen this guy. Now, he's not using him as water told, he's telling his own story about who this guy is. So yeah, that's the picture, this is the person.
Day 1. Today I'm happy because I'm celebrating the achievement of being the first ever black officer. Although I am happy, I am still shocked about the harsh realities of the frontline soldiers.
My name is Tinatsu. In that photo, I'm the guy in the middle. I was sent off abroad. I've left families and friends behind to fight for the resistance.
Sorry, can I just put it up 1 second? I just want to say, good call. You see how he started it? Gave him a name. He's an African, he gave him an African name, not a corny kunta kinte stupid name, an African name, yeah? He said, in the photograph, I am the one in the middle. So he's explaining to you, here's this picture, this is who I am, that's how he kicked it off.
Dear Diary, I went to work today, but it doesn't feel the same. Me and my friend Sandy, both of our husbands are gone overseas to fight the Nazis.
My name is Bobby Jr. I am loading heavy rockets onto a plane. We are about to go to war with Germany. We have to work with 12-hour shifts, so I get extremely hot and sweaty. This job is hard work.
My name is John Smith and I am very upset because I was at war and there was a possibility of being a victim. And when I came back, I became a victim of racial discrimination.
Every year, during the remembrance period, June 6th and November 11th, the mainstream media portrays World War I and II as all white affairs. But what of the African American, Caribbean, African and Asian experience? Black Asians and African soldiers are missing in action when it comes to interviews, documentaries, parades and war movies.
After the outbreak of war, many West Indians volunteered to serve. Despite initial reluctance to recruit them, the British West Indies Regiment was created in 1915 to serve overseas.
The British depended on the Indian and African troops to do their fighting in Africa. British forces included 1 in a million black potters just in East Africa to conduct their war against Germans. Once the war is over, Africans continue to be treated as second-class citizens in their own countries.
Remember that World War I is not just fought in Europe. There were threats of war in Africa and Asia.
Soldiers were from many ethnic backgrounds such as Pathans, Sikhs, Muslims and Hindus.
America used the all-black 369th Infantry Division to fight down wars in France. The men served with distinction, but when they returned home, some are lynched in their uniforms, and white gangs attacked black men.
Can we ask you all to stand up and join us in the 1 minute silence in remembrance of the forgotten citizens of the World War?
Once a baker's son used to bake in bread. Now he's holding guns loaded up his lead. Sweating bullets whilst his feet are rotting in a trench. Traumatized children executed because they're scared of death. Not knowing if I could be next. Voices telling me to run away inside my head. Shell shocked, so many had to suffer pain, but still got shot at dawn thanks to Douglas Haig. And how come so many black soldiers were hardly decorated? It's like Woodrow Wilson would happily put them back on slave ships. See, it don't matter where you're from, we all share some pain through the battle of the Somme. So what's the real reason for war? Let an empire rise so the other one falls.
I remember the war days particularly
job was the most exhausting. After 12 hours on the ship from Trinidad, I was put into uniform. The lady explained briefly for 30 seconds. Then she put a tray of steaming cups in my hands. Though it was good to serve my country, I was not expecting to serve drinks. When I finally saw my accommodation, I was shocked. There were 2 squalid temporary tents for the black, which should have fit at least 10 people in, but we had to squish them in down the fire.
I'm 24 years old and I work as a bartender, busting drinks to the soldiers who put their life out there. I'm so proud to see young men stepping up now, achieving greatness, even if they are risking their life now. I pray for the young soldiers who are fighting for their life. I have a younger brother out there, he's only 18. The day the war's over and he comes home safe, is when my heart will be full of joy and no longer in the States. Not only that, I was proud to be working with my sister beside me, doing a man's job without complaint. Go home to my family members and say I did it. I did a man's job proudly, with my head held high. Independence I stand, independence I am. My dream for when the war's over, not to be somebody's wife, but to be a sound sportswoman who don't need a man to pay the bills.
I am just about to leave to go to France and fight on the front lines in 2 hours. And I am currently 19 years old. And as you can see in this picture, I am really happy now because the whole time I have been in this military airport, I haven't heard any racial comments from any white man that I would have previously heard every single day of my life. Being in these trenches will be so much better than being back home in America, because whilst we will be on the front line, us black people won't get any trouble from anybody, because we have to work together with other races. We are fighting for our country.
Dear Jackie, I'm worried because I haven't heard from you since you've been gone. I hope you're alright. I have missed you and so has the family. Take care, sister.
Dear sister, I'm working in a factory making parts for the plane. England is very cold and so are the people. They told me to come to the UK and how I would be made welcome. But all I've seen are signs that say no blacks, no dogs anywhere. Sister, I have to go to work. Take care, Jackie.
Dear sister, it is so good to hear from you and to know that you're alright. I can't believe what these people in England are like. You need to keep strong. We all love you here and the families miss you like crazy. Take care. Hope to hear from you soon, sister.
Dear sister, your letter has brought me some sunshine. I work 12 hours a day in a very dark condition. Tell the family I miss them so much and I can't wait to come home. But the money I'm making is to buy a home and make a better life for the family. Anyway, I have to go to work. Take care, sister.
Dear sister, it is good to hear from you again. What kind of thing is that got you working in the dark? I will tell the family that you miss them. Can't wait for you to come back home. Home is not the same without you. I am very proud of you, sister. Take care, sweet sister. Dear sister, we are worried we have not heard from you in 5 months. Please write back, we are so worried. Dear sister, it's been 8 months and I have not heard from you. The family and I are so terribly worried. Do not sleep for worry. Please write to us.
To the Wilson Company. It is with our sincere condolence, but Jackie was killed in the war. A bomb sadly blew up the factory that she was working in. Your faithfully, the government.
I'd just like to say that pieces of work that you've heard tonight is the strength of the young people, and I think they deserve a big clap because
in the city where the Thames is, the big smoke where the fairy tale ended, where Big Ben lives, where black folks by the boatload intended to make a little money and sell home to spend it. But life is rough here, the living is relentless. We end up in predicaments designed to prevent us from ever climbing out this barrel that crabs, and when we want the things that we can't have, we got it back. But back home, they think I'm rich though. Cause they don't know the way I struggle in this bitch though. And now the gold they say paves the roads, fool's gold. But a fool has to be here to know. I don't like snow and my heart is getting cold like the weather is. It's bare warrants trying to get a digs. I'm not coloured, I'm a woke, no Irish, no dogs. God forbid they hear I'm sending for my relatives.
but my mother keeps reminding me I'm blessed. She told me not to shame the family and to always do my best. Because we're in the mother country where our life could progress, but still we come from out the ghetto, now we're riding to the west. Yes, God save the Queen. Now,